Hey everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the new DC Collectibles 7-inch scale Captain Cold figure from their Flash TV series figure line. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style of window box packaging we see with most of the DC Collectible figures. You've got the figure clearly displayed along with the accessories. You have the Flash TV series logo down below. Off to the side you have the name of the character. It tells us this is the second figure in the series. On the one side you have a look at the character from the TV show, and then on the back you have a look at the two figures that have been released in this line, the Flash and now Captain Cold. And then it tells us that Cold was sculpted by Eric Sosa. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside of the packaging, and I think DC Collectibles has once again done a nice job with the overall sculpting of the figure. I think they've done a pretty good job of capturing the overall likeness of the actor with the face sculpt, though, it's kind of hard to see because he's got the hood on and he's got the glasses and everything, but still, for the most part, I think they've done a pretty good job. Now, the hood and the coat itself is made with that kind of vinyl material like we see with capes and stuff. The arms again are just sculpted on there, but the jacket itself is a separate piece and made with that kind of vinyl material. Now the hood, I don't know if it's necessarily, I think initially it's glued, but I kind of pulled mine back a little bit so that you could pull the hood back to reveal the entire head. So, and it doesn't seem to really, bother the figure, as far as damaging it any. So I don't know if technically it's really supposed to be made to be able to pull back, but you can. It doesn't really stay. You can kind of keep. It's kind of like the Arrow figure with the hood on the Arrow figure. So you can kind of pull it back, but it's going to have a tendency to go back over the head. And when the hood's on, it does limit some of the head movement, but once you pull the hood back, you can turn the head and stuff. And we'll go over articulation in just a bit. Now, besides the coat, he's got basically just black pants, and he's got some pouches on the side. Not really, I don't really remember these, and these are again made with separate pieces, kind of that vinyl material. They're kind of glued to the legs, but they are a separate piece. And again, I'm not really sure what those pouches are. I don't remember them seeing them in the TV series, but the figure does have it. And then he's got this little gadget that's sculpted. Well, again, I think it's part of a belt that goes under his shirt, it looks like, and it's again kind of that soft rubber material, and it's silver. It's got a little blue light and a silver tab, or blue tab and a silver tab. I don't know if that's supposed to be a light or what. I don't know if it's like a magazine for his freeze gun or what. Again, I don't really recall seeing something like that in the TV series, but I may have just missed it. But kind of reminds me of maybe a magazine or a power cell or whatever for his freeze gun. He's got a kind of a thick sweater, and you've got this belt sculpted around his waist, and you've got some like a holster or something around his shoulders under his jacket. So again, kind of like when we looked at the Diggle figure, the John Diggle figure yesterday, you've got some separation because the arms are sculpted. The arms of the jacket are sculpted, and then the rest of the jacket is an actual separate piece. You can get some separation between in the arms, where you can see kind of the darker shirt underneath kind of peer through here between the seam. Not a big deal, especially on this figure because it's kind of a dark color, so it doesn't really stand out very much. The inner shirt is a dark color, so it doesn't really stand out much. I like the sculpting on the shirt. Looks like he's wearing kind of a thick shirt, to keep him warm. And then he's got these, pants, and I like the, creases and everything that are sculpted on the pants. And then he's just got black boots, and you can see shoelaces sculpted on the boots and such. Okay, so the figure comes with 3 different pairs of hands for accessories, just like we saw with the John Diggle figure yesterday. So he's got a pair of closed-fisted hands that come attached to the figure when you first open it. Then he's got a pair of open hands for, holding like the barrel of the gun if you want to try and get him in a two-handed pose. And then he's got a pair of hands with a trigger finger for which are made more for holding his freeze gun. Now I will say the plastic on the hands are kind of a hard plastic, and so at least initially when you're trying to squeeze the handle of the gun in between the fingers, it can be a little hard, so just be careful when you're trying to do that. Once you get it in there the first time, then it becomes easier, but that initial time trying to squeeze the handle between the fingers can be a little tricky. And then he also comes with this freeze gun, and this has got, you know, some pretty nice paint applications on the freeze gun. You've got some metallic silvers, kind of some bluish tint towards the end of the barrel, and just nice sculpting overall. So it looks very similar to what you see him use in the actual TV series. Okay, so the figure stands, if you count from his feet to the tip of his hood, it stands just about 7 inches tall. He is a bit taller than the Flash figure, so the scale overall seems to be pretty good with these figures. Okay, so articulation on the figure is not too bad. Head's just on a ball joint. If you really want to move the head, you kind of have to pull that hood back, but he can look left and he can look right. And he's got some up and down movement with the head, not a whole lot, but he's got some. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint, so he can get his arm all the way out, and he's got good rotation there at the arm. No bicep swivel, but does have the swivel at the elbow. Just has that single hinged cut joint for the elbow, so he doesn't really have a very good bending at the elbow. That is about as much as he can bend. I would have liked to have seen a little bit better cut there, so he could, you know, get better two-handed poses for his freeze gun. He's got the swivel at the wrist, and he's got the hinges on the wrist, so he's got good up and down movement with the hands. No midsection articulation on this one. Legs are attached with ball joints, so you can do the splits about that much. He can get his leg forward about that much, and he can't really do his leg back very much. A little bit, but not a whole lot. Does have a thigh swivel, double jointed knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. And then he's got a boot swivel, and he's got the ankle pivot. So he's got good movement at the feet, and then 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I really like this figure. I think they've done a good job of capturing the look and feel of the character as he appears in the TV series, and he seems to have a pretty significant role in the TV series, as well as he's going to be appearing in the new DC Comics series, The Legends of Tomorrow. So if you're a fan of the show, I think this is one that you're definitely going to want to add to your collection. Now, my only complaints for the figure really is I would have liked to have seen some better elbow joints so that you could bend the arms a little more, get him in some better two-handed poses with his freeze gun, and then maybe if they had included some kind of freeze effect for his gun as opposed to the extra pair of hands, I think that would have been maybe a little bit better. But otherwise, again, I really like the overall look of the figure and think they've done a nice job with that. Now, this figure is hitting comic and specialty shops now. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com of the figure, so there's a link in the description below for that. And as always, leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.